I met the new girl. She's gonna be a handful.
Alice is planning something big. Don't kill me, but I made some alterations.
To what, the suit? New look.
New Batwoman.
I'm KB with The Beat. My question is for Nicole. So I love Mary's heart and her brilliance and her journey really over the past couple of seasons. But, this season has been really hard for her just after mourning the death of her mom and then Kate's absence, really when they were just starting to get closer and really become kind of the sisters that they were always meant to be. So what can you tease about kind of Mary's journey as this season progresses and kind of how her relationship with Alice and Jacob even kind of expands as they all deal with Kate's absence?
Yeah, it's a lot on Mary's plate. I think at the beginning of the season, I was definitely busy being the only one that advocated for this new character and being stuck in the middle of her and Luke Fox a lot of the time. But then you start to see a real sort of team build because I think, people were having their own ideas and such. But I will say for Mary, yeah, her heart is definitely the yin and yang of her, and it's sort of where she operates from. So there's the protect Mary sort of a hashtag thing on Twitter that I've stolen, but then there's also the her sort of coming of age story, and because of all the things that she continues to go through and the way and her perspective that she continues to have despite X, Y, and Z, because Gotham's dark. All of these characters, man, like what happens to them on a Tuesday, it would bring a lot of ships down. And so I think the one thing she has in common with everyone is their absolute sense of self, strength, conviction, etc., etc., etc. And that's the only times when those things are at odds, when these characters have conflict. So she does share that with all of them, but I think last year she was looking for approval, looking for family, desperate for attention, has never felt like she has been seen by her own family, has always felt like she's come in last. And that's what showed, at every moment that she could crack a joke, get attention. Or until she's in danger and no one's there to help her. This year, I feel like she switched. Like we're seeing this great coming of age story where she becomes the older sister in a sense, where she for the first time is able to give Ryan something that she never got herself, and that's really, really special because as you'll find with Mary and Ryan's relationship, anything that I think Mary wishes that she had for support, she gives it all to Ryan. So I think that's a really beautiful silver lining to all of the loss that she's experienced. And that's really special now because I think that's similar to how we hope is at the other side of tragedy, which is sort of just this leaning on each other. And so Mary, since she has no power and she is very weak, I think she really relies on that and her heart. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. As we all know, kind of we as a community don't have the best or most positive relationship with law enforcement. And we saw last episode that Ryan and Sophie have a past history that really touches on that a bit. So my question is for actually both Javicia and Megan. What was the process, or what has the process been for both of you kind of collaborating with the show's creative team and each other to try to make sure that these storylines and on-screen dynamic is really as authentic as possible? And I'll start with you, Javicia.
I think it starts with trusting our writer's room. We have a great, diverse writer's room where when I get a script, I haven't yet felt like this isn't a great representation of what's going on right now in society. At least this season, I don't feel like that. And so I haven't really had a reason to talk about it as much. Megan and I have a lot of scenes together, and sometimes we'll have like a sidebar conversation. But we also have like such a we're able to have such an open dialogue when there is something that doesn't sit comfortable with us, when maybe it's dialogue and how we say something, or the actual verbiage that's being used, or maybe it's the subject. I know an example is I did a scene in not tonight's episode, but another episode where there's this kid with a gun, and specifically there's this Black boy with a gun. And it affected me personally seeing the young actor hold the gun in the scene. And so originally my character is supposed to just fly out, but not really have an emotional connection to what I'm seeing. And I talked with our director that day, and I was like, if possible, can we allow this to sit for a second? Because this matters, you know what I mean? That we need to show that she's not just this, she's not just Batwoman. She's a human being. She's a girl. She's a Black girl from an area where this is something that she may see often, and it affects her. And so, we talked about it, and I felt like I was heard. And so that's kind of like our way, or at least my way, of slowly but surely making sure that when the stories are being told, they're being told the right way.
Yeah, I just to piggyback off of everything that Javicia just said, especially, me actually being a part of that, that law enforcement side that everybody, is not liking and wanting and trusting, having to play, that side of it. It's been fine. Although of course, you don't want to be a part of some systemic issue, but telling that story is also very, very important, and I'm glad that we're able to do that on our show. I always still try to advocate to still be the change that we want to see. So I hope that we will have an opportunity to be able to see it in both lights. But I think nonetheless, it's a story that we're telling on the show right now, and I think it's going to definitely resonate with a lot of people. So I'm glad we have the platform to be able to do that.
Well, thank you both so much. I really love this season, so thank you.